Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
Welcome back to When Woke Women Attack and Instantly Regret It, the series where feelings throw hands, logic gets evicted, and free speech is treated like contraband. First up, nothing says tolerance like tackling a preacher mid-sermon because free speech only counts when it's their speech.
Can you stop? Can you stop doing that? Can you stop doing that? Stop being intolerant. Stop being intolerant, man. You're being very intolerant, man. Man, you're being very intolerant. Man, you're being very intolerant.
I've had enough of
Man, you're being very intolerant.
Then just walk away, ma'am. Walk away then. Walk away.
Yeah, stop. You're being very intolerant, man.
I've had enough of it.
Then just walk away.
Why are you gonna hurt somebody because you're tired of what you don't. Man, you're very bigoted, man. Get away from me, yeah. You're very bigoted. This is why.
The preacher opened his mouth, she opened her fists. One came with words, the other with flailing arms, and yet, somehow, he's the one accused of spreading violence. If irony had a face, it'd look exactly like this scene on the sidewalk. Moving on, she brought a pride flag, forgot the pride, and used it as a medieval weapon until the cops showed up.
Embarrassed to mention it.
Is your wife still over there? Yeah. Bye-bye. Have a fun trip.
When your argument runs out of words, just turn your flag into a weapon because nothing says love wins like attempted assault. Honestly, it's the kind of logic only modern activism could produce. Silence the opposition, then cry oppression on the way to jail. Now, the debate heats up over bathrooms and kids.
My next claim is that transgenderism should be eradicated from public life entirely.
She, her, hers powerhouse.
Blossom Powerhouse, lovely to meet you.
Yes. Go ahead. I want to know your ideology around transgenderism, something that doesn't exist. It just sounds more like conservative propaganda. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about what you're trying to communicate.
Okay, I think for all of history everywhere, people have understood the human person to have something to do with his body. So like your body has something to do with who you are. Now there is an alternative view, which is called Gnosticism. It's a view that our bodies don't really have anything to do with who we are, that the body is maybe even evil, and that our true selves have no connection to our bodies. And I see in the transgender ideology a kind of Gnosticism that says that you could look like a man, you could have a man's genetics, you could have a man's genitals, you could have a man's everything, but if you feel on some deep level that you're really a woman, then you are really a woman. And I don't think that's true, and I think that the social effects of that are really bad because it leads to the depriving women of their legitimate rights. In some cases it leads to rapes, notably in the last few years, and it also leads to women losing their sports competitions and their scholarships, and it's just disordered and false. And it also leads to more people adopting this identity, which leads to very high rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide. So it's bad for everyone, and it's not grounded in reality.
Oh, I don't even think you understand what you say sometimes. I don't think you even understand what you say, because when we talk about these rape cases of women in the restroom, they're coming from cis men like you. So let's be very clear where it's coming from.
No, that's not true. In 2021,
excuse me, do not interrupt a black
I'm just trying to correct you. Well, I would never interrupt a black woman.
No, thank you.
Here's
the thing about me as a black trans woman. I am not a threat to cis women, and I think it is harmful that you are going around here spewing that rhetoric, weaponizing this rhetoric against trans people.
Weaponizing facts.
Transgenderism does not exist. We as trans people exist. We are 1% of the population, and there is a lot of power in the trans identity because you are sitting here spewing something to me that doesn't really exist.
I'm not spewing anything. I'm just stating facts plainly.
I have lived experience. You don't, and you never will. But I do have a question.
I have
for
lived
you.
experience.
What if one of your kids came out as trans? How would you
God
react
forbid.
to that?
I mean, I would obviously love my children, and I would try to do what's best for my children. And the best thing that I could do to be respectful and also to be conducive to their flourishing is to tell them the truth, which is that they're not really girls.
Classic activist playbook. Accuse the other guy of being the real danger, then sigh dramatically when he won't validate your fantasy. Sorry, but parenting isn't about clapping for delusions. God forbid might be the most honest thing said in the entire exchange, and the sigh just proves his point. Here's another activist stepping in to argue about safety and statistics.
Hello?
If we're gonna think about women getting raped in bathrooms, right? It's a small percentage of trans people that are doing it. I'm not denying that that's happening because it is a reality and it's an awful thing for women to have to go through.
Yeah.
But then what are we doing about the men that are the 93% of violence towards women?
No, hopefully arresting them and putting them in prison.
And what are you doing before that? Why are men the highest percentage for this? If it's such a bad thing for trans women to use the bathroom when a very, very, very small amount of women are being raped by trans women, why are we not having any sort of things before for men?
I think we try to enforce our laws and protect people from rape, and so we take
apparently not very well.
No, I think relatively well. We have a relatively low rate of these kinds of violent crimes compared to other places in the world. But in one area, we're talking about men forcing themselves into women's bathrooms. This is one area where we don't need to allow them to do that. It's a needless risk. It's based on a false view of reality and claims of rights, so-called rights, from confused men that infringe on the legitimate rights of women, not just in bathrooms, but also in sports competitions, also in scholarships, also in just about anywhere else in society. So I think that we have the right to insist upon some kind of reality, because I think not only will that be better for women, not only will that be better for society broadly, but that especially will be better for the individuals who are confused about their gender identity.
And how are you going to prevent trans women from using the female bathroom? How are you going to tell? What's the tea?
There are some giveaways,
okay.
Contrary to what the trans activists
and what are
say. Men who identify as women, you can usually tell.
And what are they? You can tell all you want.
Yeah, broad shoulders, Adam's apple, and like the face, and yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can tell. You can usually tell.
Usually.
Not all the time, but usually, yeah.
Okay. So if you can only usually tell, what are you going to do to prevent it?
Well, look, a man who doesn't even identify as trans, a man who's just a nefarious fellow could sneak into a woman's bathroom, and so we have to enforce the law.
93%, because what are you doing about men?
We should enforce the law against people who break it.
She really thought she nailed it with percentages. Only 1% of trans women might be a problem. Oh, good. So we just gamble with women's safety. Meanwhile, the conservative keeps it simple. Men don't belong in women's spaces. End of story. Sometimes reality is as easy as shoulders. Next up, a masked crusader tried to cancel a reporter by screaming bigot before running out of arguments faster than their patience.
You're just a bigot? You can go.
Oh, what makes me a bigot, ma'am? Or sir? I'm not sure. I didn't misgender you, did I?
Oh, please yourself.
Oh, that's not very ladylike.
Oh, now you're misgendering me. Ladylike.
Oh, well, what are you exactly?
None of your business. What are you?
But you said I misgendered you. If I don't know what you are, how can I not misgender you?
1 second it's you misgendered me, the next it's none of your business. Classic woke logic, demand respect while refusing to explain what you even are. The silence at the end says it all. Here's a student trying the tired America was never great routine, only to get clapped back with facts.
I want you to tell me exactly the point in history where America was great.
Point to me a time in history where America wasn't great. Tell me where it started.
The birth of America? This country was built on murder and thievery and deception.
America started at a certain point and grew and came better over time. No country that you know of was 100% perfect at the foundation. No country. Ever since you've been alive, America has been the greatest it's ever been.
You think so?
100%, brother. Name somewhere else that's better than America. And why don't you live there?
I'm not sure.
I know you're not sure because they don't exist.
He demanded proof of greatness, then couldn't even explain when it supposedly wasn't. Classic woke education. Whine about the country while enjoying every freedom it gave you. If America's so awful, the airport has open seats. Funny how no one actually takes that flight. This time a traveler trying to make misgendering the biggest crisis at the airport. Like Delta should ground flights until their pronouns are respected.
And what about when a Delta employee misgenders you intentionally?
While he's talking, you're talking.
You just misgendered me again.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Gotcha.
Both of you have.
wasn't intentional, but if you want to take it personal, that's also...
Well, she did do it intentionally twice.
You're talking to me too.
You said she and then you said he.
You're being condescending, and if you want to continue, I have Port Authority escort you out the building right this moment if you want to play that game with me.
Okay.
Would you like to continue 3 days before Christmas? I really don't mind.
I'm good. I'll just put this on.
The employee wasn't having it. Instead of groveling, he called out the attitude and threatened to boot them before Christmas. Imagine crying over pronouns while holding up a boarding gate. Sorry, but TSA doesn't screen for your feelings. Now Rachel drops the classic 77 cents line like it's a mic drop, but the guest doesn't flinch.
Women in this country still make 77 cents on the dollar for what men make. So if women don't make less than men?
Actually, if you start looking at the numbers, Rachel, there are lots of reasons for that.
Wait.
Well,
don't tell
first
me
of
the
all,
reasons are. Do women make less than men for doing the same work?
No, because...
Wow. Okay.
Well, for example, men work an average of 44 hours a week. Women work 41 hours a week. Men go into professions like engineering, science, and math that earn more. Women want more flexible
professions. Listen, this is not a math is hard.
No. Yes, it is, actually.
No, right now, women are making 77 cents on the dollar for what men are making.
But that's not true. If so,
let Rachel make her point.
Every greedy businessman in America would hire only women, save 25%, and be hugely profitable. And I love how passionate you are. I wish you were as right about what you're saying as you are passionate about it. I really do.
He pulls out actual numbers and shreds her soundbite on the spot. Hours worked, career choices, flexibility facts she clearly didn't want on the table, and the cherry on top. If women were really 25% cheaper, every company in America would be staffed wall to wall with them. Over at Pride, the preacher tried to talk while she tried to shove, proving free hugs now come with profanity.
We're just coming to preach the gospel, and that's no. You can't touch our stuff.
Take your off my grounds.
God bless you.
Go.
But we're not going to do that.
Go. You're going to have people trying to use our bathrooms. Go.
What?
Our bathrooms. These are our gender-neutral bathrooms. Get the f away from them.
Oh, God bless you.
God bless you. No. They paid. You did not pay. Would you like my security guys to give you a hand, escort you to where you need to be?
No. Legally, they can't escort us where we need to go.
Legally, you can't be here. We paid for this. I don't believe in a God that makes you treat people the way you do.
You don't even know me. You don't know how I treat people. Well, yeah. That's what Jesus said. That's a quote. That's a quote.
Go. Get out.
You're going to need the police if you want us to leave.
No, you did not pay to be here.
I'm not a vendor.
I know. Duh. So get out of my f***ing event. Go.
God bless you.
You'd think with all the rainbow flags flying, there'd be room for one man with a Bible. Instead, she went full security guard mode, minus the paycheck, the authority, and the self-control. Nothing like a shove to show just how loving the movement really is. On Piers Morgan's show, he asked what non-binary means, and she answered with the ancient art of awkward silence.
Well, Blair's a trans woman. Why don't we let her answer?
I'm also transgender.
I know.
Okay. Go ahead.
Which trans are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm non-binary.
What does that mean?
I'm a non-binary person. I use they, them person.
So,
sorry, are we going to spend... do we really want to spend the rest of this discussing my personal
You're the one who
journey?
mentioned it. I didn't even know.
Well, now you know.
Okay, so now I know. I'm just asking you what that means.
Like, do you really want to discuss this?
You raised the subject of yourself being trans. I'm simply asking
Can
what
I
does
finish
that...
my point?
No, wait
it's
one
always
second.
a non-binary
Wait 1 second.
person
It's actually really
over
interesting.
a transsexual.
It's really interesting to me. You raised it, not me. I didn't even know. So now you've raised it. What does that actually mean? What do you mean you're non-binary?
Are you really, really just going to...
Can you explain it?
Are you going to cut Blair off now?
I'm just asking you to explain it. I'll come back to Blair in a moment.
Well, you were the one that cut me off, sis, but I will say that...
Hang on one second, Blair. Sorry, Blair, wait 1 second. I just want to ask, what do you mean by non-binary?
When I say I'm non-binary, I'm expressing my identity in a way that I have a right to do. I'm sorry? It doesn't have anything to do with my
Actually, the UK
sexuality.
government now says that people are male or female. The British Prime Minister says people are male or female.
I don't think the UK government should have the final say on how I express
Well, they
myself
determine the
and
laws
how
of the
I'm
country.
treated.
I'm just curious what you mean by non-binary. What does that mean?
I'm curious. Firstly...
What are your pronouns?
They, them.
What does that mean? There's only one of you.
What? what does they, them, actually, they, them has been, the collective they has been used to refer to individual people for centuries and still is. So, I mean, if you don't understand basic grammar, that's on you.
I don't really understand.
You do.
I don't understand. I've got to be honest with you. I don't understand the concept of what non-binary means, or why you would use a plural pronoun to describe a singular person. That makes sense. To me, this is the problem with the whole woke thing. Is that it's inexplicable. Nobody really knows what it means. I don't know what you mean by non-binary they, them. There's one of you sitting here, and you look to me female. You're a female.
If you don't understand what non-binary means,
I don't.
Then I'm not sure you're in a position to lead a debate.
So just tell me. Tell me.
But if you can't explain it in simple language, then
what is it?
What's the point?
Well, explain what
I can tell you exactly what being a transsexual is.
It means that my gender identity is something other than man or woman. I'm a non-binary individual.
But you accept your...
I don't think that I'm here to discuss the contents of my
You raised this whole
appropriate.
thing. I didn't mention anything about what you were. You did. You said, I'm trans.
This has really become uncomfortably personal.
Has it? You said it, not me.
She walked onto the set ready to educate, but the minute peers asked for a definition, it was crickets. Non-binary, more like non-explained. If you can't describe it without sweating, maybe it's less an identity and more a riddle no one asked for. You have to love when woke language gymnastics completely collapse.
Do you know what the leading cause of death for pregnant people is?
Pregnant people?
Mm-hmm.
Mothers? Women?
If you'd like to call them mothers, not all of them are mothers, but if you'd like to call them that.
What are they if they're not mothers?
They're pregnant people.
What people other than mothers are pregnant?
Does it bother you to use inclusive language?
I prefer to use precise language.
It's interesting because you come into this conversation, trying to hold this moral superiority, but
no, I try to be moral when I can, but I...
Right, but when I use inclusive language, which it only takes a couple extra syllables to use inclusive language.
To include
and
who?
It seems to include people who don't identify as women but can become pregnant.
She kept repeating pregnant people like it was some profound insight, but every time he asked who besides mothers can be pregnant, the silence said it all. That's the thing with woke buzzwords. They sound important until someone uses plain logic, and suddenly the whole argument looks as ridiculous as it actually is. And this is what happens when woke logic gets taken for a test drive.
And if I call you a moose, are you suddenly a moose? Okay, if I redefine our terms. No, yes, that's right. Men and women are a completely different thing. This is true. Have you ever met a man or a woman? They're completely different.
You can say you're a cat. It's not a thing. It's genders. It's not saying you're
Okay, why is that? I don't understand. Why? Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I won't ask you how old. I will ask you how old you are. Okay, because you're young enough that it's probably not insulting to ask you. So,
I'm 22.
Why aren't you 60? Why aren't you 60? What is the problem with you identifying as 60?
It's not the same as gender. You can't just...
You're right. Age is significantly less important than gender. You can't magically change your gender. You can't magically change your age.
She tried redefining reality, but Ben Shapiro flipped it on its head with the age question. Suddenly, gender is fluid sounds just as silly as identifying as 60 years old. That's the problem with woke arguments. They collapse the second someone refuses to play along with their fantasy. This is the classic woke playbook.
So my question is, if it's okay for you to call other people rude, I'd like to understand from your perspective why you don't believe it's rude and why you think you have a right to, when someone identifies a certain way, for you to tell them that that is not correct, that they are that particular gender or identity.
Why do I feel that it's right to tell them the truth?
But it's not
the
truth.
The people who hate the truth, people who hate the truth are because they see the truth as hateful. If you want to identify in any way you can, you're free to do so. But that does not mean that the rest of us have to join that illusion.
They demand you bow down to whatever label they throw out, then act shocked when someone calls it what it is. The man in pink shirt didn't even flinch. He reminded them that truth isn't hateful. It's just inconvenient for people living in make-believe. And the best part, he refused to sign up for their illusion. Now, a rally full of chants, swears, and speeches.
Whose house is this? Whose house is this? You chicken meatball-headed. Whose house is this? Whose house is this? Whose house is this? Yeah, go ahead and kick me out. It'll be on every news organization in the country. it. Get your good glamour shots there. I remember the shit that you said on the floor. I remember the shit that you said, misgendering Lee Finke, lying about us. I can stand in here and yell all day. I don't give a shit. You want to drag me out? We're going to have a bunch of cameras on us, including that one, that we're going to put on all the news organizations. What? What? Here, you motherfucker. What? Exactly. You want to drag me out? Come get me. But it's going to be on the news. Everyone's going to know. And we're done with it.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
This is an illegitimate committee. They do not want to be here. We need to have everyone be here as they do. Now. Y'all want to have your little fun with the cops? We're going to be here now.
What do we want?
We're wild.
When do we
Want
want
to
it?
drag me out, then drag me out. I'm not moving.
When do we want it?
I weigh 450 pounds. Y'all are done.
When do we want it?
I'm done.
When do we want it?
No, we're staying here until all y'all.
Trans activists once again proving that the louder you scream, the truer your argument must be. Forget reason, forget evidence. Just add profanity and Trump's name, and voila, instant revolution. Who knew democracy could be run on pure decibels? Finally, a teen confessed he loves chicken nuggets, while the activist loved interrogations, turning McDonald's into the defendant in woke court.
Are you against animal abuse?
Am I against animal abuse? No, I'm not.
Why not?
It's not animal abuse, it's eating meat.
No, I said, are you against animal abuse? Can you answer a simple question? It's yes or no.
I already said no. Are you deaf?
No.
I said no at first. I said no because it's not animal abuse.
No. You're okay
Animal
with
abuse
animal
is whipping people.
You're okay with animal abuse, are you?
No, I'm okay with them getting killed like that.
No,
and then
I asked you, are you against animal abuse? And you said no.
No, I said I'm okay with all this shit that you showed me.
I asked you, are you against animal abuse? Yes or no?
Are you against education because you don't know the difference between a pig and a lamb?
You literally can't answer a yes or no question.
I have. I said no so many times.
Why aren't you against animal abuse?
I like protein and I like McDonald's.
Okay, so you're okay to abuse animals because you like eating animals.
I don't abuse anyone.
I literally just showed you slaughterhouse footage. Animals are abused in order for you to eat their body.
Imagine thinking you're delivering a moral masterclass, only to get bodied by a teenager defending chicken nuggets. She wanted repentance. He served her a lesson with fries on the side. Extra crispy. Here comes the classic, this country is nothing without immigration speech. Like that line alone shuts down debate.
Would you admit that this country would be nothing without our rich history of immigration?
Well, I tell you what. And this is what's gone wrong. You talk about immigration, and it ran from after the war up until the millennium at net 30 to 40,000 a year. And yes, it worked. In fact, we had the most successful immigration policies of any country in the whole of Europe. Now, it is so totally out of control. Just think about this. 2.5 million people have come in the last 2 years. You wonder why you can't get a house. You wonder why your rents have gone up 25% in 4 years. You wonder why our infrastructure is struggling. You wonder why we have to build a new house every 2 minutes just to cope with the numbers. And that's the issue. It's now running at numbers that are literally unimaginable and are diminishing the quality of life of everybody in this country.
Farage calmly torches it with numbers that actually matter. Housing, rent, infrastructure, real life issues the woke crowd pretends don't exist. Funny how applause dries up when the facts start stacking higher than the slogans. Turns out feelings don't build homes every 2 minutes. This guy thought he had the ultimate gotcha with the name 2 black Republican senators trick.
Name 2 black Republican senators.
Well, there is one that I know of, Tim Scott.
Yeah, can you name a second one?
I'm not sure there is a second.
But there's not. No, there's not.
Yeah,
no,
so it's
no.
a trick question.
Yeah.
How about this? Can you name me the only black Supreme Court justice? Actually, there's 2 of them.
No, other than Byron Donalds, can you name another black Republican congressperson?
Yeah, Wesley Hunt.
Matters.
How have the Democrats done overseeing the black community the last 40 years? Are they wealthier, richer, happier?
Everybody has made mistakes, bro.
No, answer the question.
I'm answering. I just answered the question. There have been successes and there have been failures.
Success?
I would love it if you could.
Kirk doesn't just dodge it, he flips it. Supreme Court justices, black conservatives in Congress, receipts ready to go. Then he drops the real question the woke crowd never once asked. What exactly have Democrats done for the black community in 40 years? Spoiler, the silence said it all. Now, imagine crying about pronouns in the barracks when the secretary just banned beardos and yoga stretch workouts in one speech.
Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year, every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already, but we're codifying it. And we're not talking like hot yoga and stretching. Real hard PT, either as a unit or as an individual. At every level, from the Joint Chiefs to everyone in this room to the youngest private, leaders set the standard. And so many of you do this already. Active, guard, and reserve. This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair, superficial individual expression. We're going to cut our hair, shave our beards, and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. So you have to address the small stuff. This is on duty, in the field, and in the rear. If you want a beard, you can join Special Forces. If not, then shave. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans. But unfortunately, we have had leaders who either refuse to call BS and enforce standards, or leaders who felt like they were not allowed to enforce standards. Both are unacceptable. And that's why today, at my direction, the era of unprofessional appearance is over. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done. Simply put, if you do not meet the male-level physical standards for combat positions, cannot pass a PT test, or don't want to shave and look professional, it's time for a new position or a new profession.
He's done watching the military turn into a diversity retreat. Standards are back, feelings aren't. If you can't pass a PT test, can't meet height and weight, or need your beard for self-expression, then congratulations, you just enlisted in unemployment. At the dinner table, she ordered water for the table and delivered it straight to his face.
You can't work a job because of your dog separation anxiety. At that point, you are not going to survive in society. And there is much that I can make.
And my therapist has come to the recommendation not have a direct boss.
Girl, you're not gonna survive. Everyone has a...
Throwing water doesn't make you powerful. It makes you clumsy with tableware. Arguments require words, not beverages. Watching her splash around like that, you start to wonder if emotional maturity comes with a do not microwave warning label. In the world of modern dating, 3 baby daddies and no job somehow adds up to wanting a loyal provider.
How many children do you have?
3. And 3 baby daddies and they all gangbang.
So what do you want as an outcome?
I want somebody that's loyal. It's really hard to find loyalty nowadays.
Loyal to what end? Like a husband? What are you talking about?
I want a husband. I want to get married, have kids.
Why,
I want to live in a house.
Hold on. You're 39 with 3 children, right?
Yes.
Okay. You already have kids?
Yes.
How old is your youngest?
3 years old.
And you want more children?
Of course I do. I really want 6. Is something wrong with that?
What do you do for a living?
I get EDD. Is that, I
don't know what that is.
Unemployment.
So you're an unemployed mother of 3 with 3 baby daddies, and you talking about you can't find a man?
Yes. I want somebody that's going to help me. Like, you don't think that I could get that?
It's called Jesus.
Sorry, but you don't think that I can get somebody to help me? You don't think a man is going to love me?
It's called Jesus.
Huh?
Jesus.
So basically you telling me to call on Jesus?
And a therapist.
And I thought you was... Well, Can me and you be together then?
The math doesn't add up. 3 baby daddies, no job, but somehow she's holding out for Prince Charming. Spoiler, he's not riding in on a white horse. He's sprinting away with both sneakers untied. Loyalty isn't found in the clearance bin of responsibility. Here's a bathroom confrontation caught on camera.
What are you doing? Why are you in the girls' bathroom? But you're not a girl.
Oh, we're doing one of these.
Yeah.
Interesting. You've done this before. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, I pay a lot of money to be safe in the bathroom.
Me too. Excuse me.
Do you think that's okay?
Imagine paying for a safe space and finding the fox already inside the henhouse claiming, "Me too." That's not protection, that's infiltration. Women are paying for peace of mind, not to share bathrooms with men who believe identity trumps biology. Next up, a trans activist talks about gender studies and abortion.
It's crazy. I'm actually doing WGSS as my major, so it's like...
What does that mean? What's W?
Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies.
Oh.
So, like, this is...
What kind of job are you going to get with that degree?
Yeah, like, literally, but for real, like, I literally, that's, like, I mean, I don't honestly know. I mean, I just know that I want to support women's rights in this world. I just know women's rights, queer rights, all of, because, I mean, specifying women's rights because,
So
of
would
course,
you oppose, if you knew a baby in the womb was going to be trans, would you think it's okay to abort that baby if the mom's like, I don't want a trans kid?
Yes! I mean, it's her body at the end of the day, it's...
Say we come up with some genetic sequence that we can say this is dispositions a person to be trans. You don't think it's discriminatory and wrong to be like, I don't want to have a trans kid, so I'm going to kill it?
I don't think it's discriminatory and wrong for the simple fact that, the child hasn't been born yet. Like, it's... We could ask
you think my vaginal
question.
canal is magical? My 6 inches of my vagina somehow makes a clump of cells into a baby? That passing through my vaginal canal at labor, bam, it's a baby.
I mean, yes, it's like life.
I mean, my husband might agree with you, but I don't think most people would agree with you that have a magical vagina.
Nothing screams supporting women like giggling your way through a degree that even Starbucks won't hire you for. And apparently, the same activist who preaches tolerance also cheers for aborting babies if they're the wrong gender identity. Guess compassion only counts after birth. Here's an example of Candace Owens slicing straight through the fake victim routine.
And here's what I want to say. What you're seeing happening today, obviously we have some black people that are just shouting in the back. We have some black people that are sitting in the front quietly that are chanting USA and having a normal conversation. I love that because what I say every single time, and you may have seen me on the news, is that what is happening right now in the black community, you're going to hear it in this room first. There's an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures, okay? That's really what it comes down to, okay? I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality. And
That's
I promise
great,
you,
by the way.
the
I love
people
that.
here are
Isn't
going
that
to
great?
win.
I love that.
And there's no doubt in my mind. I can tell you right now who is going to be better off when we look 20 years and we look at the faces in this room. Who is going to be better off are the girls that are sitting right here and across this room because they don't have your mentality. Victim mentality is not cool. I don't know why people like being oppressed. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I love oppression. We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did, and it's embarrassing that you utilize their history. You utilize their history, and you come in here with more emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. More emotion than they ever had when they were living through it. It's embarrassing. You're not living through anything right now. You're overly privileged Americans. It's what's going on.
You teach them, girl, yeah.
While the back row screams about slavery like it just happened last week, she reminds them none of them lived through it. The real embarrassment? Pretending oppression is trendy while enjoying more privilege than most people on Earth. That's not justice, that's cosplay. Now we've got the gender crowd completely folding when asked for a straight answer.
How many
genders are there?
There's so many.
So many. So many's not a number. Can you give me a number or not?
You have 2. That's 6th grade science.
So what you learn in 6th grade becomes less true as you get older? Like gravity becomes less true? Give me a number of how many genders there are.
Hundreds, many.
Unlimited, right? It's anything you want to be, anything you feel.
No, it's what scientists determine. I think what happens is you don't understand science and science.
Oh, I don't.
Backing, and you just want to put forth this
just simple, here we go. So what is just about saying there's 2 genders?
You're just being completely not faithful to what actual science is telling you.
No, science is quite simple.
That there's an oppressive narrative about how you think
so now I'm
genders
oppressive. The truth comes out eventually. So how am I being oppressive?
You're being oppressive by denying people the ability to have...
How have I denied anyone anything? Okay, denying people identity. People can identify however they want. I'm only going to use 2 genders.
She says so many, then somehow upgrades it to maybe unlimited. That's not science, that's a guessing game. And when logic shuts her down, the panic button gets hit. Fascist, oppressive, buzzwords on repeat. Meanwhile, Charlie keeps it simple. 2 genders. End of story. Up next is what happens when common sense collides with quota talk.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniform leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We became the woke department, but not anymore. An entire generation of generals and admirals were told that they must parrot the insane fallacy that, quote, our diversity is our strength. Of course, we know our unity is our strength.
Promotions based on skin color and quotas instead of skill. That's not leadership, that's participation trophies in uniform. And when he dropped the line about diversity is our strength being a fallacy, the room froze. Because deep down, everyone knows unity wins wars, not rainbow checklists. In a debate about equality, someone tried a little trick with their voice and instantly proved his point even more.
Any other takers on why women deserve less? Oh man, here we go. Hello.
Do I deserve more or less?
Are you a man or a woman?
I'm asking you. Do I deserve more or less?
Well, probably less.
Even now, when my voice is lower than yours?
Even less now.
They thought a voice trick would expose some deep hypocrisy. Instead, they got roasted twice in a row. When both your female voice and your male voice get rejected, maybe the problem isn't sexism, it's just you. Next, threatening to murder a public official over metal detectors is apparently the new definition of peaceful activism.
The driver seemed fully aware of my presence in front of the vehicle and proceeded to drive straight towards me.
Like physically harmful?
Yes.
Physically?
So let me get this straight. Metal detectors are violence, but murder threats are empowerment. That's not civil rights. That's stand-up comedy. The only thing more absurd than her rant was watching her insist she wasn't guilty while the cameras played the receipts. Up ahead, puberty blockers are super safe, says the woman hiding behind a crutch while failing Science 101.
So, puberty blockers are super safe and have been used by doctors for a very long time for kids who have like girls who get puberty way early, like 7-year-olds who start to have their period.
Precocious puberty, totally different than giving it to kids who are being lied to and told that they have a gender identity that's different than theirs.
They're not being lied to, they just need to, it's very traumatic for kids to have to go through a different, to go through puberty whenever.
Yeah?
It's super different for kids to have to go through puberty, and that's why.
Do you think puberty is a medical condition or something?
No, I mean I guess technically everything's a medical condition,
is that right?
Isn't it? Because
and you're a nurse, or what do you do here?
I'm not going to talk to you about what I do here, but I.
Radiation therapist, got it.
Yeah, well, I guess I shouldn't have flipped it over. Yeah. So I help treat cancer, and I treat a lot of kids, and I guess you're not really you're not here to listen to science.
No, I'm here to have conversations. I would actually like to ask you a few honest questions, if I may. I'd like to know what it is to be a transgender child. What does that mean?
To be a transgender child is just to be a transgender anybody. I really don't want to be in anything that needs.
All right, well, if we're talking on film.
I don't trust that you're gonna have
I'm not gonna edit anything. It's just gonna go straight up. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. I've had probably 20,000 of these conversations, and I have yet to be able to get an answer to the question of what does it mean, for example, for a girl to be a boy? What does that mean?
It means that, like, whenever somebody is born, a doctor looks at their genitalia and then assigns them a gender, and gender is a society-based thing. And so, yeah, this person might have all of these parts but wants to express self in a different way, or feels more feminine than masculine and wants to express themselves that way and uses gender as society has like incorporated it to do that. And so a transgender child is just a child who already knows that the assignment that they've been given doesn't match with how they want to express themselves. And I'm not a transgender person, so I can't really speak to that experience, but I'm married to a transgender person, and she's amazing. She knows exactly who she is, and you know, she didn't have the vocabulary to describe what was wrong whenever she was younger, and it would have made a big impact in her life. And the reason that she is alive today is because she's gotten gender affirming care. So it's life saving.
Yeah, that's what I hear all the time.
Yeah,
Yet there's no studies to show that suicide rates decrease by sterilizing children. Can you show me some of these?
Yeah, I could show you some of these. Yeah,
okay.
There are lots of studies that show that gender affirming care reduces suicide rates.
Yeah, like what? Can you name one?
Can you name one?
No, I can't name one because there aren't any.
No, there are.
The only studies we actually have into suicides are with the adult population. There have been no proper studies done with kids. And with the adult population, the most comprehensive study we have is out of Sweden. And it shows
that one's been debunked, though.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
How so?
Because
which one? Do you even know what one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do, because
what am I gonna
one
say?
study that people like you keep throwing around.
Oh yeah.
Because
What about the one that came out of Denmark about 2 months ago?
Because it confirms your bias. I don't see. Well, since you brought up Sweden one, I don't trust that you have like the really good. Like I don't trust that you're like actually looking for the fact, because.
Okay, well, why don't you send me the facts later when you get home? You can email me chris@billboardchris.com and you can send me the facts.
Because the one from Sweden wasn't even like.
This was less an interview and more a live demonstration of what happens when activism meets reality. She couldn't explain what it's like to be a trans kid, couldn't name the studies, couldn't process actual evidence. But sure, let's trust her with the scalpel over children's futures. Brilliant plan. Now, a reporter gets grilled about Trump, but the exchange doesn't go as planned.
You voted for Trump. You're female and you voted for Trump, and that's all I need to know about you.
Well, what does me being female have anything to do with it? How do you know I'm a female? How do you know I'm a female?
Okay, you present as female.
In what way?
Well, you're dressed like one. You seem to have boobs. Your face is female.
Okay. What does that mean? Because I've heard that we don't know what a female is. What is a female?
A female is a person who is either born female or chooses to be one.
How do you how would someone choose these features?
You can get them built.
So we can build females.
We can build boobs and we can change dicks into vaginas, yes.
How do we do that?
You'd have to talk to the doctors, but I know it is done.
Yeah, well, that's something Trump has done. He has defunded hospitals that do that to children. So that's good.
Don't bother.
Well, she's talking about me being a female. How would she know that? It's funny that we're not allowed to assume these things, and we're told that gender doesn't exist and that we don't know what women are, yet you just assumed that I was a female.
Gender absolutely exists. It's just not only one or the other, and you are not...
How many are there?
I don't know.
Okay. So as a female, I shouldn't have voted for Trump?
Nobody should vote for Trump, but
as a
especially
female,
as a female, you should vote for Trump.
Why bring me being a female into it?
He's a rapist.
Okay. But what does that have to do with me being a female? So number one, what's the proof that he's a rapist?
E. Jean Carroll and the court decision. He's been decided by a court to be a rapist.
What court?
I don't remember what it was, but the victim's
a court decided that he was a rapist.
The victim's name was E. Jean Carroll, and I'd have to look up what court it was, but I'm reasonably sure it's somewhere in New York State.
Okay, so you don't even know all the information about this, yet you're running around saying that he's a rapist. Do men ever get falsely accused of being a rapist?
Sure.
Okay.
Do they get necessarily all the way through court and a judge and a jury?
So the jury decided that he was guilty of rape.
Yeah.
Really?
That's how a court
what was
works.
his punishment?
I believe it was a fine that he has yet to pay.
So he had to pay a fine for raping someone? Donald Trump only had to pay a fine for a jury deciding in a trial that he raped a woman. That's probably the best thing that you could do right now is walk away.
So apparently female means whoever chooses it, and Trump is a rapist because some mystery court said so. This is the intellectual rigor of activism today. Feelings over facts, accusations over evidence. No wonder she bolted. Her arguments had less structure than a Jenga tower mid-game. Watch this, the big question. How do you actually prevent people from being trans?
How are you going to get people to stop being trans?
I think we're going to tell boys that they're not girls,
so we're
that they're
going to
boys.
tell boys that they're not girls, and they're going to listen.
Yeah, basically.
Really?
Yeah, that's what we've done for most of history.
That happened to me, and I can promise you to God that I didn't listen.
Yeah, well, because we live at a time that is affirming the transgender delusion. But if we lived at a more sensible time, probably you would have listened, and you might have had some. And I think we should just return to a more sensible kind of politics.
But what is yours? You're not giving a solution on how you would even be capable of doing something.
Yeah, I think I am. I think we kick the fellas out of the boys' bathroom. We kick the transgender teaching out of schools.
How are you going to do that?
We just enforce the law as it was before 2015.
There was a law prohibiting trans women to go into the women's bathroom, or trans men going into the men's bathroom.
Yeah, it's there in the term women's bathroom.
The activist mind is blown that kicking men out of women's bathrooms could actually be legal. Meanwhile, the man spells it out plain. Tell the truth and stop playing make-believe. Biology doesn't need compromise or negotiation. It needs honesty, something the activist clearly hasn't heard in a while. Coming up, clips that claim to show who the real bullies are.
Get out of my face now!
The data is in, and it shows exactly what we've known for the past 7 years, which is non-binary people are more likely to bully others, and I know why this is happening.
It's okay to be angry.
If you try to stop me from going into a woman's bathroom,
excuse me, it's ma'am.
Be the last mistake you ever make.
So much for love wins. Apparently, it actually means fists, curses, and tantrums. Nothing says oppressed victims like throwing punches at strangers. The caption is right. The real bullies aren't the ones saying no thanks to pronouns. They're the ones swinging their handbags like it's WrestleMania. Next, a stage fall with an unexpected rescue. Falling off stage is embarrassing enough, but getting scooped up by 3 men, that's the activist apocalypse. Imagine preaching down with patriarchy all day, only to rely on broad shoulders and strong arms when gravity reminds you it's still in charge. Biology saves the day again. Here, one man asks if another believes men can get pregnant.
Do you believe then that men can become pregnant and have abortions?
Yes.
Only in the clown world can a man get pregnant, have an abortion, and probably qualify for maternity leave too. Biology says no, but activists say yes, because feelings are now stronger than chromosomes. If men can get pregnant, I guess next we'll see roosters laying eggs. Meanwhile, Grandma went full WWE promo on MAGA, proving anger management isn't covered by Medicare.
MAGA! MAGA! I'm talking to you! I don't know how much longer I can take this. You MAGAs. I know you don't live in Washington, D.C., and you don't care what's going on there. You don't care about the overthrow of everything he is doing. But it's here, and you gotta live up to it, and you gotta fess up to it, MAGA. MAGA!
She was supposed to make a point, but all I heard was a smoke alarm running out of batteries. Rage doesn't equal clarity, and screaming MAGA like it's Beetlejuice doesn't make the argument stronger. Someone get her a glass of water before the revolution. One woman got so triggered by a poster, she cursed, attacked, and stormed off, winning the gold medal in Olympic victimhood.
I walked by and saw your sign and it was harmful.
Physically harmful?
Very harmful.
You were mentioning human beings as if we're special. Are we special as human beings or not?
Over me so fast now.
Yeah, you're doing the same thing. So we're doing the same thing back to one another.
Because you're triggering a trans person.
You're trans.
Yes, that's why I said don't call me ma'am, you piece of shit.
Yeah, he's trans too. So we were having a respectful conversation. You see the difference? Yeah.
It wasn't, because I walked by and saw your sign and it was harmful.
Like physically harmful?
Yes.
Physically harmful?
Very puts you in hell.
You're not. You're just confused. You have a mental issue.
She claimed the sign was triggering, then proved it by detonating herself in real time. No facts, no counterpoints, just profanity and a quick exit. Somewhere, Hallmark is wondering when posters became weapons of mass destruction. Back at the podcast, she explained she can't get a job because her dog has separation anxiety, a career plan that's truly gone to the dog.
You can't work a job because of your dog's separation anxiety. At that point, you are not going to survive in society. And there is no budget I can make.
My therapist has come to the recommendation that I not have a direct boss.
Girl, you're not going to survive. Everyone has a boss.
Do you?
Yes, the audience.
Uh-huh.
I have a boss. The platform that I'm on, I have to follow the rules and regulations, or else no money. Every month it is getting more competitive to get a remote job. More people are getting laid off in tech, and everyone wants a remote job. You are competing with the top of the top of the top. In-person is what gets you an income next week. We can get you an in-person job.
In-person job, where am I going to put my dog for an in-person job? She has severe separation anxiety and she ate through my door.
You might have to surrender the dog if you cannot survive as a human being, because if you're not able to survive, they're not able to survive.
So now unemployment is a medical prescription for the dog. Imagine telling your landlord, sorry, rent's late, but my Shih Tzu needs me emotionally. Therapy may help the dog, but society still needs people who can hold a job without barking excuses. Here, nothing screams hire me like demanding a moment of silence for your own privilege before the interview even starts.
Hi everyone, I'm Ezra Frisch, they them. I just want to take 5 seconds to acknowledge my white privilege. Just a moment of silence. I just want to make sure I'm working for an organization that aligns with my values. So you mentioned that you guys don't have plans for Black History Month?
I didn't say that we don't have plans. I said that
just like the 6th of February already. And one Black inventor. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
This is not the structure of the interview.
I just want to know the team.
Okay.
I mean,
asking the question as if you've been offered the job.
You can't name one Black inventor. You cannot name one Black inventor. This is a for-profit.
I think you need to do some reevaluating.
Are you laughing?
I asked politely now.
Were you
that
laughing?
you leave?
Do you think this is funny?
This interview.
Yeah, don't hire woke people.
This guy treated a job application like open mic night for activist theater, quizzing the interviewer on inventors, interrupting mid-sentence, and acting like the role was already his. The punchline? He got escorted out faster than his ego could process, and the host nailed it. Don't hire woke people. Finally, Bill Burr could call it like it is and have a crowd howling.
The way white women somehow hijack the woke movement, generals around the world should be analyzing this. The woke movement was supposed to be about people of color, and it was about that for about 8 seconds. And then somehow, white women swung their Gucci-booted feet over the fence of oppression and stuck themselves at the front of the line. My leg is so hard, with my SUV and my heated seats. You have no idea what it's to be me. Trash and white guys. The nerve. Where's the camera? The nerve of you white women. You guys stood by us toxic white males through centuries of our crimes against humanity. And occasionally, when you wanted to sneak off and hook up with a black dude, if you got caught, you said it wasn't consensual. That's what you did. So why don't you shut up, sit down next to me, and take your talking to?
He torched the way white women hijacked a movement meant for racial justice, sliding themselves to the front of the oppression line like it was a VIP club, complaining about heated seats and SUVs while lecturing everyone else. The punchline? He told them to sit down and take the talking too. Classic. And there you have it. Woke talking points met with reality checks they never saw coming. Whether it's job interviews, debates, or even comedy stages, these moments prove one thing. When you push hard enough with nonsense, eventually someone will push back harder.